The Undine, species 8472, have attacked the Sol system and wrecked the Earth space dock, with a large armada then swept onwards to the Alpha and Beta quadrants. They had left behind a small task force to sow chaos and keep Starfleet unbalanced, chasing down boarding parties and preventing order from being re-established by impersonating people in command and cutting subspace comms. But this attack was not meant to be a permanent crippling of the Federation. For all its ferocity, it was a hit and run, while their real target was the Klingon homeworld of Qo'Nos. Admiral Tuvok was mentally taunted by an Undine infiltrator previously posing as Dr. Eric Cooper, but through the connection he was able to learn of their true target. On the eve of establishing a truce with the Klingons, the Undine could have not picked a better time, as all eyes were on the Genolan summit. Now we have to put our words and preaching of alliances into action and move in to assist the Klingon Defence Force.
Arrived in the Qo'Nos system. At this time, the ruins of Praxis are concealing our arrival from the Undine. The Klingon homeworld defense fleet has engaged the bulk of the Undine forces, but they appear to be taking heavy casualties.
Just 2 Federation ships? 2? Where is the Enterprise? Where's the rest of your fleet? I knew better than to trust Starfleet. You run when you should fight.
The Romulans have promised additional aid, as has Starfleet Command. The Enterprise is contacting all available ships and...
Words are meaningless. Deeds show the true heart of a warrior. Join me if you are not as cowardly as the rest of the Federation. Today is a good day to die.
Corran's frustration is clear. The Bortesque aided in the fight around Sol before warping back to Qo'Nos. But this means that she too has seen that there are so few ships left that are in fighting shape. The absence of the Enterprise is because it's doing what that ship does best. It's out there, making connections and bringing those who would aid us together. The USS Voyager and the Armiger will have to serve until reinforcements arrive. It's easy to see the lancing beams of battle from this distance as the KDF home fleet tries to repel the attackers, and they are having a more successful time of things than Starfleet did, it seems, despite the Undine's greater numbers. Most of the damage to ESD was accomplished when the imposter again disabled local defence grids and the inter-system comms. I wonder if the Klingons suffered a similar fate. It's far less likely, however, as they have been aware of a serious 8472 presence for around 15 years already. This is probably the reason for their greatest success against the Undine at the moment, and the reason for their large committal of forces on 8472's part. The Klingons, to the Undine, are their biggest adversary.
That was only a small force. The rest of the Undine fleet will not be so easily defeated.
Are you afraid, Vulcan?
I have never known Admiral Tuvok to be afraid. We move from the Praxis debris field and work our way through the skirmishes that have emerged across the system. Were we to engage them all at once, I doubt we'd survive, so picking off the outlier forces and freeing up the Klingons to join the battle proper is about all we can do at the moment.
The Romulan Republic has made commitments to its allies. We are here to honor them.
The RRW Lasat warps into the system. Clearly, Captain Sean managed to convince the Republic to lend its support, as the last we heard of Captain Jarrett she had been recalled to New Romulus in case the Undine turned their armada their way. The Armiger weathers a rift into fluidic space. Although the singularity at its core damages our shields, we emerge from the other side mostly unscathed.
The orbital defenses alone will not be enough to stop the Undine advance.
We would not be alone if anyone in the Federation had the heart of a warrior.
Tell you what, Corin, we live through this. You give me yours, yeah? Next Sunday. ESD bar. Yeah? No? Okay, not the time. Moving on. That looks like a dozen Undine ships ahead and only 2 Klingon Raptors left. It reminds me of a pack of wolves circling wounded deer, an analogy that I'm sure the Klingons would love until they realised that they were the deer in this situation, not the predators. We make our presence known to 8472 and almost every ship seems to return fire. We're able to weather the hits by keeping our distance and rotating our facing side to spread the damage. But our task was accomplished. Like a good break in billiards, we drove them apart, and now the rest of the Allied fleet can pick them apart one target at a time. To reduce incoming damage, we find the target being hit by the RRW Lancet and follow its lead.
I calculate our current chances for victory to be 6.
Anyone else in the Starfleet had bothered to show up!
Okay, yeah, we could actually use reinforcements about now.
The tide may turn against us,
We are at
but this
distinct
will be
tactical
our day of
disadvantage.
glory! Think of it as an increase in your opportunities to die with honor.
Our shields scrape against an Undine craft and we turn to face the new wave of vessels, which is a rather unwelcome one as we haven't even managed to deal with the current Undine forces. They keep pouring in, it seems, and this must be the bulk of their invasion fleet.
My apologies for being late.
Just one more ship?
Not exactly. We brought a few friends.
Now that's better. Captain Sean managed to dig up some more Starfleet vessels and bring them to the fight. We've got word that it wasn't only Sol that they hit. Other targets were struck too with the same tactic to sow disarray. It's likely that the other targets were hit based on the ease of access the Undine had to them, regardless of tactical position, as the goal was merely a smokescreen assault to keep us away from Qo'Nos. Alongside this, I think the Undine were assuming that there are likely those who would decline to aid the Klingons, as we were at war a few months ago. I mean, look at the Romulan Republic, whose first instinct was to pull back from the tentative alliance in order to protect their own assets. Understandable, but playing into the Undine's hands. Unfortunately, they underestimated the Federation-drilled mandate to help others in need, and although it took some time, Captain Sean seems to have been able to rally some like-minded troops. We see that the Qo'Nos shipyards are being targeted by the Undine too. The large docking frames for Klingon vessels are tempting targets to hit and are swarmed with Undine. I wonder if there are Klingon soldiers on those stations still alive, fighting with bat'leth in hand against boarding parties. Our small fleet moves in to assist the Klingons and engage dozens of frenzied vessels. One of the tactics the Undine seem to enjoy employing is opening up a hole to fluidic space and allowing the material of that universe through to provide hazardous navigational obstacles. Drawing too close to the fissure in reality leads to a steady plasma damage and a slowing effect as the gravitational forces of the micro-singularity mess with our navigation. Alongside the Enterprise we drop another Dramius cruiser, but there are plenty more bioplasmic lifeforms in the fluidic medium. Soon there is only a Tethys bio-dreadnought left of the current wave of vessels, and our armada focuses all fire on the lone ship. As powerful as it is, it cannot stand up to the combined fire of 6 Starfleet ships, a Romulan, and the Klingon Defense Force. Now it's time to liberate the shipyards proper. We engage the remaining enemy fleet to draw them away from their assault, and it seems many of the Klingons' defensive encampments have already succumbed to the firefight, and the station is on its last legs. We supply all power to the weapon systems and fire at multiple targets to see which Undine vessel will take the bait and who we can hook to reel in. Yep, that feels like we got a bite. The mighty Lassette swoops below us, lending its firepower to the targets whose wrath we have incurred, and drives them off. Thanks for the assist, it seems our engines were hit immediately and we lost a lot of mobility. The fluidic is that?
What is that thing?
The Undine have brought a large craft through a quantum singularity.
They're powering up weapons!
The Undine have a new planet killer!
Target that ship, and fire all weapons!
No effect! They're too strong!
Voyager has one nanite torpedo remaining from her time in the Delta Quadrant. Such devices proved effective against the Undine in the past. Tactical. Fire when ready.
They took some damage, but the planet killer can still fire. I can get the Aquarius into firing position above her and exploit the opening in her shields, but someone will need to keep the Undine distracted.
The Aquarius is a new small escort class deployed from the USS Enterprise. It's going to make a run on the Undine planet killer, but it needs cover to reach its target.
The Aquarius is beginning its attack run.
As the closest ship, I guess we're that cover.
Sean's attacking a planet killer on his own! Sacrificing his ship! His life!
Weapons are offline. This is our only chance. Setting the Aquarius on a collision course.
Acknowledged. Do we have Sean's coordinates?
Getting locked now, sir.
He did it, sir! The planet killer has been destroyed.
Tuvok to Allied fleet. Stand down. The Undine are retreating. Captain Sean.
Transporter room! Did you get him?
We have...
Captain Sean to Admiral Tuvok. Permission to come aboard?
The Klingon High Council wishes to discuss the most recent developments. We have been invited to transport directly to the High Council chambers.
Oh, so that was the Undine's endgame. Destroy Qo'Nos, the centre of their biggest opposition. I'm not surprised the High Council wants to talk after that. I haven't even had time to change out of my dress clothes. We beam down to the Klingon Great Hall, seat of the Council and Chancellor of the Empire. It's been a long time since Starfleet personnel were here in peace, Amid the crowds are the crews of the defending vessels, Qo'Nos' saviours. These towering stone halls have played host to decisions that have shaped the entirety of the Quadrant. We should probably start by talking to the Admiral.
There are many here who have seen the danger Species 8472 presents with their own eyes for the first time. Thank you for your assistance in protecting both Earth and Qo'Nos from the Undine. However terrible, this battle did have one benefit. Today's fight opened the door to what may be a lasting peace between the Federation and the Empire.
I said the same thing in 2293.
Now we must have the courage to compromise for the greater good. In its way, that can be more difficult than waging war. The formalities will begin soon. Until then, I must take the time to speak to others who were instrumental in the success of this mission.
Now that includes you too, Admiral. I think I'll do the same. The Klingons here are mingling well with the people who a few months ago they would have been slaying in combat. It's a strange feeling, unpleasant and relief at the same time. But we can't get hung up on chasing the injustices of a war now ended. To do so renders the sacrifices given for peace meaningless. Amid the officers here is Ambassador Sugihara, who, judging by his expediency in beaming down, may have actually been present during the battle in the skies above. And over there, I think I've just spotted the man of the hour, Captain Sean.
That was a close one. But I'm fortunate Voyager transported me off the ship at the last second. It would have been a worthy sacrifice. Qo'Nos is too important to lose.
A captain worthy of his ship, I think. Sean has ever been one to make calls based on morality of a situation, and while he has a head for diplomacy, he has no time for games. I'm glad we didn't lose him today. I mean, the Armiger would have beamed him out, but we couldn't risk lowering our shields. Next, let's talk to Admiral Quinn.
A true peace may not be on the table yet, but I hope we can at least broker a lasting armistice. But first, we celebrate today. Earth and Qo'Nos are safe.
Agreed. Let's not think about the politics for now. Right now, let's just enjoy the victory. I think I found the blood wine. Kapla, random ensign. Hey, Corin, good to see you survived. How about we do something to celebrate?
You have shown your true nature today. Worf was correct. There is honor in the Federation. The conflict between us has gone on long enough. Now we should turn our blades toward the real enemy.
Yeah, fighting side by side again.
I remember you from the Gateway activation. You fought well today. May our meetings on the battlefield always be as glorious.
And just now, we fought alongside in orbit. Oh, Ambassador Worf.
I served in Starfleet, and now I serve the Empire. There are many on both sides of the current conflict for whom I have deep respect. I see this as an opportunity. We may find we have more in common than we realize.
Yeah, I agree, Ambassador. That would be a future worth fighting for. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go talk to someone less intimidating, like this 9-foot-tall carnivorous lizard.
My people have respected the Federation ever since our first encounter with your famed Captain Kirk. I have advised Chancellor Jimpok that the Gorns support the idea of a ceasefire. Perhaps this will lead to greater freedom for all of us.
STOSS has a good point. As infamous an enemy as they were depicted in their original meeting, that was all based on a misunderstanding, and ever since then, a mutual respect has been found between the hegemony and the Federation. STOSS's support would go a long way towards ratifying a final peace. We also have Temek here, representing Klingon intelligence. And look who it is, the Xindi delegate.
The 5 races of the Xindi once tried to exterminate humanity. But through the efforts of a few people who were willing to change, we put aside our weapons and worked through our differences. Now, we are members of the Federation. Peace came with great difficulty, but that is the way of most things worth having. The Undine are here, and they're spreading lies and dividing us from within. Now, more than ever, we need to set aside our animosities and work together for the greater good.
I agree, Xindi delegate, and I knew we'd be fast friends. Captain Jark?
Earth and Qo'Nos are safe.
and the Romulan Republic is pleased to assist its allies. I just wish my father could see all of us working together toward a common goal. This is the future he dreamed of.
Yes, her father was encountered in 2366 by the USS Enterprise as part of a political scheme to oust him and provoke the Federation. His pursuit of peace was sincere, and his death left behind his wife and his daughter.
You fought well for someone from Starfleet.
Thank you, Chancellor Jimpok, I think. We filter ourselves into lines, and as Admiral Quinn ascends the stairs of the Great Hall, the ceremony begins.
Many fine warriors have earned their places in Stovacor today. They died with honor, fighting one of our most formidable enemies. The Undine brought the battle to our very threshold. The fine warriors standing before me pushed them back. Let us honor our sacrifices and our accomplishments by ending...
So, you are the heroes of the Milky Way. You have come further than we expected. But still you chase our shadows.
We are not here to impress you, demon. We stand united, and there is no one who can...
We give you a single warning to not attract our attention again.
The hell was that?
That was the reason we need to work together. It's time for our feud to end.
Agreed. From this day forward, all hostilities between the Empire and the Federation will cease.
The Iconians use servitor races and other species to do their fighting for them. Species 8472 has been an unknowing catspaw of the Iconians for some time. This time, however, the Undine were defeated, and it was our combined strength that allowed us to prevail. Thousands of years ago, the Iconians were defeated by an alliance of races. I predict their ultimate aim has been to prevent such an alliance from happening again.
So that was an Iconian. An actual one. In the flesh. And they're a little late to prevent an alliance. It seems that warning shows that they've played their hand. If anything, it bolstered our resolve.
There have been periods in our combined history when the Federation and the Empire have not been at war, but they have not been allies either. This may be the beginning of such a time. It will be up to us to determine what happens next. With time, we may even restore the alliance that came out of the Khitomer Accords.
Job's never done, is it?
Voyager will return to the Delta Quadrant. There is much to do there, and the Jenolan Sphere will need to be protected from further Undine assaults. I am sure I will see you again. You have been a worthy ally, and your wisdom and courage will be called upon in the days ahead. Until then, live long and prosper.
Until next time, Admiral, it's been a pleasure. We discovered potential Iconian involvement back in fluidic space months ago, but had no proof, just chasing shadows, as that interloper accurately said. The Iconian tendency to work through others means that they never had to reveal themselves to their opponents. Instead, they could divide and conquer from secrecy, pitting races against each other. The very fact that one had to appear, demonstrate its power by killing the Council, and warn us off, means that they're running out of plays to stall an alliance. As Tuvok summarised, 200,000 years ago the species was overthrown by the oppressed and resilient, but they've long gone from the annals of history, so where have the Iconians been all this time, and why are they returning now? It may have seemed counter to their plans to try to threaten us, instead it unified us, but the minute the Undine failed, their plan did. It shows that as mighty as they may be, they're still fallible. And that's all that we need. We return to the Armiger to await further orders, and it seems that although the Iconians have revealed themselves, we can maybe begin to operate to counter any plans that they may have. And the Deep Delta Quadrant has opened itself up to us now that we've secured the 2 Dyson spheres, so if nothing else, maybe we can find answers there. I'm sure that we can even get some exploration done along the way, and delve into truly exploring our galaxy. And I hope to see you there for the next chapter of the Star Trek Online story series, where we do just that in the Delta Quadrant missions. Next episode will probably be a recap of the entirety of the Klingon Federation War and its culmination into the Undine threat as a sort of timeline video. Now that we have it all down, I think it would make an interesting video to see all the machinations and battles that made it. So until then, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time for the continuing narrative of Star Trek Online. Thanks again, and goodbye.